archsimkat versus Morax, game 1 of the first best of 3 on Auburn Canyon. Looks like it will be a UEF mirror with Morax, former player counselor, general cool tournament and map dude, starting out in the bottom left. And over here in the top right, very slowly. Oh, wait. There we go. archsimkat starting up in the top right with also UEF, but in his trademark light blue color. Wow, last minute faction switcheroo shenanigans, apparently. archsimkat changing his faction from Seraphim to UEF at the last second. It's a thing you can technically do. And we're off to seeing Morax with a second Mech Marine into third Scout, into second Air. Meanwhile, archsimkat is going to be a bit more defensive. Only Engineers as of now out of that first factory. Unfortunate ACU pathing there, going the wrong way around the factory, but it looks like they will be both going second Air, although Arch more defensively with that massive assist. I don't know if he can afford that, but Morax coming out with two very fast Mech Marines with Scouts, so he's going to see everything that's coming his way, and he's going to be able to threaten the critical expanding Engineers. Yeah, look at this. He's going to come at these rocks down here, and then there's this Engineer that typically comes across this way, trying to grab these rocks and cliff build a factory up on the ledge. But we will see if they are successful. I don't see any defending units from Arch. Extremely greedy. Now we're going to see a sixth tank. Sixth tank is pretty greedy, but he's probably hoping to just not be raided. It's always a good strategy. Defense through hope and prayer. But he will get an early scout out and a bomber out of his air factory to hopefully do some offensive damage on his own. Like, Morax's expansion has been significantly delayed. Like, his air factory is not yet done by the fact that these Mech Marines have gone out. Alright, first one manages to find the expanding Engineer going here, but archsimkat with the reclaim, but Morax is absolutely paying attention. Keeps his Mech Marine alive, gets that very important killing the expanding Engie. Scout sees the incoming tank to defend, and looks like the Mech Marine is going to try to sneak by and grab this expanding Engineer. Don't know if he'll be able to. Meanwhile, Scout picks up the ACU, or the ACU picks up the Scout on the right side, gets the Snoop, and has to respect the tank if it doesn't want to die. If he can run around this, it can continue to be a nuisance. Oh, just barely not getting stuck there. Oh, dodge. Another dodge. Alright, two Mech Marines are now grouping up. You can't really fight this. Unfortunately, they do not have a Scout anymore. This Mech Marine, it's trying to run past and get this Engineer that's replaced the one that's already dead, and the tank is too slow. But it got one shot off, one more hit, and this Mech Marine will die. Engineer picks up the Scout with the reclaim. Meanwhile, there's a bomber and Inti going down to the south. That was not the button I meant to press. Looks like it won't get the first pass, but it will be microed back into position. Gets the bomb off, no dodge. Kills the rock and the Engineer. Meanwhile, Intis are being microed. Looks like Morax's is lower health. He has to be careful not to throw it away, trying to kill this bomber. A has been sent over to the right side, which will make life difficult for the bomber. Bomber from Morax coming over to the right side now. We have very vulnerable Engineer, which could be bombed, but there's also this Engineer, which the Mech Marine might kill. Is Arch paying attention? Oh, he is! He gets the reclaim! Wow, Arch has been getting every reclaim all day, every day, but Bomber gets the Engineer just as the tank is coming through. Meanwhile, Bomber on the right side does eventually die, but at the cost of Morax is now down 3 Intis to 1 Inti, but the Bomber is still alive. Could maybe bomb this tank, and then that would open a path to send your tank through. Or you could get a very juicy kill. Look at this. Look at this. It's extremely juicy Engineer collection you've got there. Trying to carefully maneuver it forward, using the radar to see what's there. Could almost blindly just bomb here. considering the orientation of these P-Gens, but that is perhaps a bit riskier than Morax is ready to be. A bit too greedy. Looks like Arch is going to try to get a run by here with the tank on the left side. There's a lot of defending tanks here, but it just might be fast enough. This is be a huge pickup, and it is. There's no expanding engineer over here now, and this is so much reclaim just in these rocks. This is like 3K reclaim on my screen right now. Meanwhile, there's 2 bombers. Morax does not have air control, but he doesn't care. He gets an engineer here. He gets the 2 engineers building the factory spam. Only 3 engineers remain in the base with a few expanding outwards. Actually gonna start bombing the tanks. Oh, there's one more bomber here. Can I get a lineup on this? It's actually going for the mechs. It looks like it's it's done its job and just wants to kill the mechs now, which is just kind of annoying. The other one will go for the engineers, though. It kills the 2 engineers assisting the air factory. This is a pretty disorienting set of plays. Arch does not have many engineers left, and this one's going to get picked up. Although, in the grand scheme of things, Morax does have to be careful. He is pretty far forward. Arch maybe doesn't know where he is, but Arch has a lot of units and his own ACU over here on the right side of the map. Although these units from Morax are threatening to come through the middle here. He has to be very careful. Morax is getting his cliff-built factory up. archsimkat will start his now. But bombs coming out on the army. This is very nice. Both players have to be pretty careful. There are no radars, so players are relying entirely on what they see. But Morax has this incredibly valuable air scout. Look at this. He sees everything. There's not a single AA in Arch's army to deal with it. So it's just going to be allowed to, you know, get free intel until an NT comes and picks it up. Looks like another bomber on the left side. This is just mean. Arch does not want Morax to ever be allowed to expand to all this reclaim on the right side, or the left side. And he's going to try to push through, doing a bit of a maneuver coming in through the right side and then pushing up the middle. This is not typically the meta. Usually you'll see players come down and go this way, and then the opposite player will go to this. But Morax sort of stopped Arch from pushing through the middle, so Arch is just going to walk across and try to deal as much damage as he can. There is a significant map control difference here, because Morax has not been able to secure these mechs as well Arch has. But it's safe to say Arch knows where Morax's ACU is now. It's getting a bit of value here. Has to be careful. Oh, well, managed to win air control with the ACU. Always, you'd love to see it. Yeah, classic maneuvers. Oh, and both ACUs will meet each other. Tank numbers look kind of even. Maybe Arch has more. It's 24 in the vicinity to 22 in the vicinity. This is going to be very dangerous. Looks like Morax is going to shoot the ACU for a bit. I don't know if that's a good idea. Arch is shooting the units. Tank counts are very even. Everything is being pulled into this fight. There's even a random mech green on the minimap. Don't know what that's about. Maybe he's trying to go for a draw here. Feels like he's on the back foot for not getting that reclaim. But if you look over here, all this reclaim has not been grabbed by Arch. And Morax knows this. But it looks like he'll just back up a bit. Players are not necessarily looking for a draw just yet. Arch does have this nice radar on the back of this cliff. Very well defended from bombers. And he's got this nice factory which can be repurposed for reclaiming engineers. So Morax does have to be a bit careful. He also has to make something happen at some point. Like this gets raided again. Morax is just not allowed to exist on the left side of this map with engineers. Alright, we're moving out. 3 tanks are going to try to get into the back. They might actually be able to do some damage. Morax isn't paying complete attention. There's no radar in the base. You wouldn't really expect there to be. But Arch does have overcharge, and he's ready to use it. This could make a huge deal in the comp fight. Arch has significantly more power and the OC. That's a lot of additional DPS, and he's just going to move forward, start bullying this ACU away from the reclaim field. Morax is going to respond by shooting Arch's ACU. And Mech Green still present. Gotta love it. Well, the tanks are moving around into the back of Morax's base. We'll see how that goes. ACUs are fighting each other. I mean, Arch just has to be careful not to let Morax draw him. And I think he's in a pretty good spot. He's got the power, he's got map control. Somehow this, the lucky engineer managed to capture one of the mechs on the right side before dying. Look at this, this is a very nice radar. He sees basically the entire map. Tanks in the back do kill one mech, might kill a second before getting cleaned up. Wow, 2 mechs in the base dead. It's a pretty great pickup. Meanwhile, pressure on the right side. But the standoff continues. Morax is up 2k HP on the ACU and has more vet, but overcharges from Arch should be able to even that out. Unless he goofs, and it looks like this might be a commitment from Morax. He's going for the Shift G and the block. Quite an extended block here. And try to prevent Arch from escaping, going for the drop. I think this is a good play. He's got to try for it. He's being brought down pretty fast and low, but Arch is already down to 4k health. Only needs to lose another 1500. Down to 3k. 2.7. Oh, and there it is. We have a draw. Game 1. Arch just lets Morax sort of sneak in here, even things up for another game on Auburn Canyon. That was a pretty action-packed game. Arch just, got a bit too greedy. Sent a lot of units over here to the right side that probably should have been with the ACU. He did a lot of nice damage, but, all's well that ends well. They will now replay the map on Auburn Canyon, as is traditional.